Hello, Elloz here. Pokemon Go finally came out in Canada and I've been walking around, leveling up and catching them Pitgays, Risottos, and the long forgotten Jinx. As I was playing, I finally snapped out of my confusion and I just realized something. Life? Well, life is just a game. Here, let me explain. The world we live in is actually a game. Everyone is a player, there are no NPCs, and there have been a few patches here and there to the world, but although we get patches, there has never been any appearances of the developers since the creation of the game. There have been many theories and speculations about the developer, but we'll leave that for another time. When the game starts, we are all spawned into one of the given regions in the world. The Americas, the UK, and the Supreme Region, just to name a few. Each region has its own difficulty and it varies from one another. Easiest being somewhere like Sweden, where you are given many tips and tricks throughout your playthrough to help you finish your main quests. The hardest regions being somewhere like Nigeria, where even if you're given the class of Prince, you'll still have difficulty surviving and might resort to begging for help. Sadly, spawning into regions is like character creation. You have no choice and it's all completely up to RNGesus to decide what you get, and what you get is what you live with. Fortunately, I'm in the Americas region, where I'm given many tips and tricks to complete my main quests, but I decided not to do them. Instead, I decided to spend my time doing side quests like Pokemon Go, or volunteer work, and maybe watch some scientific research videos in hopes that I may gain more experience to help me with my main quests that I will eventually have to do. With more experience, or EXP, you'll be able to invest into skill trees which might prove useful in the future. However, be careful as there are some useless skill trees that you might not want to invest in. For example, I invested in the university education skill tree and I just found out that it's completely worthless and maybe I should have invested in trades instead. In each skill tree, there are passive skills and active skills. Some skill trees have more passive skills than active skills, or vice versa. So it is best to spread out and never invest in just one skill tree. Something which I have neglected to do. Like most games, there are also stats involved in your playthrough. The main 5 attributes are Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence, Charisma, and Constitution. For those who don't know what these stats do, here's a quick summary. Strength applies to physical attacks, skills, and contributes partially to the love-making minigame. Dexterity applies to movement speed and accuracy. Nothing special here. Then we have Intelligence. Intelligence applies to finding solutions when facing problems. This is probably the most important attribute to have given the recent patches. Back then, the attribute for survival was Strength, but I guess the game got meta and it went for Intelligence. And then we have Charisma. Charisma applies to a person's social abilities and their beauty. The higher the charisma, the more social and pretty you are. The same applies in reverse. The lower your charisma, the more antisocial you are and how fucking ugly you look. Finally, we have Constitution. Constitution applies to physical and mental endurance, duration during the love-making minigame, and resistance to getting kicked in the nuts because your classmate wanted something from you and due to her low intelligence, she thought kicking you in the nuts is the only way to get what she wants. Fuck her. Obviously, these stats can be increased with passive skills and with enough EXP. Here, take a look at my stats when I graduated from the class of high school student. And here it is now. As you can see, most of my stats have gone up and they can grow even more with enough time and hope. Now, there's more to this game, but this is all the time I have for this video. Now, if you'll excuse me.